1-4, 29-0. We're going to start with you, Jake. What's your initial reactions from this game?
Embarrassing. I've seen the Lions play a lot of bad games. I mean, I watched the entire 2008 season, and this is one of the worst games I think I've ever seen them play. It was pretty bad.
That's your initial reaction for Overreaction Monday. Greg Rice,
Yes.
We'll kick it over to you. Same question.
29-0. It kind of speaks for itself, I would feel a little bit better if this was a, Drew Bledsoe, Curtis Martin team that we lost to. The stats look like it. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Once again, we let a quarterback just kind of run rampant on us. There's really nothing good to take from it, other than a few key players. We're looking at another top 5 pick if we don't get it together. And I think that is not unrealistic at all, especially with the way our defense is playing. This is beyond pathetic. This is borderline misery. And I don't know how much worse it can get right now.
Right. Well, Mac Jones might be the new Drew Bledsoe with this kid Bailey Zappi the way he is. Maybe he won't see the field ever again. Coach Darcy, what's your initial reactions to this game?
Yeah, it seems like with they used to call us the Detroit Patriots, with all the moves with Danny Shelton and Trey Flowers and everything like that. They basically Fatty Matty Patty has screwed us for years, and it's looking our cupboards are bare right now. We got a lot of 1 to 2 year players, and it is what it is. Like, guys, what did you expect? We were playing a championship coach.
I'm glad you brought up Matt Patricia. I mean, it's bad enough that we lose 29-0, but his contract's still on the books, guys. We paid him to kick our ass. And you want to add insult to injury? Jelani Tavai led the Patriots in tackles. We'll start with you, Jake. Have you seen on social media today anyone say, I'm done with this team? I saw it 3 or 4 times this morning on social media. Have you seen that?
I've seen I'm done with the team, fire Dan Campbell, fire Aaron Glenn, get rid of Jared Goff. I've seen it all.
What do you say to those people?
I tell them the same thing I said on here. Zach Taylor won 6 games his first 2 years. And we just got to be patient. We already knew that the defense was going to be bad this year.
But they are what we thought they were.
Yeah. Well, like Russell said, they got to add some veteran guys this coming up offseason. I said it this offseason that we needed to, but we didn't have the cap space. We have so many bad contracts on our, on the books right now. They have to write all of that stuff before they can really write the team. So I just tell the guy, hey, man, just be patient. Everyone's like, I've been patient for, 30 years, 57 years, and all this other crap. And I'm like, dude, you look like you're 40. You probably ain't been a fan that long. Shut up.
Greg Rice, same question to you. Have you seen that on social media today? Overreact Monday to the utmost?
Absolutely. Look, Dan Campbell's already lost half this fan base. There's no way around it. Only cure for it is winning. My boy Mark Orm put that out there. Shout out to Orm's Forum. Great show, you guys. You get a chance, watch it. He's lost and he's made some boneheaded decisions. That has been beaten to the ground, though. What I am going to say is this, you guys. Look, Jared Goff played horrendous yesterday. Absolutely no excuse. I'm going to give you some stats based on last week, not incorporated with this week, other than his Football Outsiders DYAR ranking, which has Goff as the 11th best quarterback in the NFL right now. Look, I get the 2 pick sixes and I get the pick and the fumble for a thing were bad. But as of last week, not incorporating this week, Jared Goff is still set up to surpass Matthew Stafford's 2011 performance. That's the best quarterback performance we've ever seen in Detroit Lions history. He is also 8th in ESPN's total QBR system, 7th in QB rating, 7th in passer rating. PFF, who's never liked Jared Goff, that's fine. And he's 3rd in total QB stats. You guys, I'm just going to say it like this. Look, most of this panel knows I am not a Matthew Stafford supporter, but let's just look at what happened last year. I ate a lot of crow. Let's not run another good quarterback out of town. Do we really want to end up like the Bears, you guys? Just be patient. Have patience. If you want to critique something, let me just jump on this. So another thing going around that someone's getting eaten up is Aiden Hutchinson. Tweet from Aqib Talib. Hutch needs to work on developing a pass rush move. That would be fine and dandy if he was a 5th rounder. Unfortunately, he's the second overall pick. And miss me with the double teams, miss me with all that stuff, because I did hear some comps yesterday that of certain great pass rushers going into better situations. I get that. I'm going to use a situation from our Detroit Lions with our second overall pick in 2010 in Ndamukong Suh, who absolutely dominated that year with a cast-off Corey Williams, with a D-Law who was a first-round bust, and a still budding Cliff Averill. Ndamukong Suh absolutely dominated that year. He ended up being the most double-team player with 10.5 sacks. And the thing about it was he was consistent. I have not seen that with Aiden Hutchinson. People are on Aiden Hutchinson's bumper, and deservedly so. Look, I love Hutch. I'm not an MSU fan. I'm not a The Ohio State fan, okay? I'm just simply giving an honest observation. Hutch needs to step his game up, or Aaron Glenn needs to find out how to use this young man more effectively. I've not given up on him. I bought the kid's jersey. I love him. I wish him nothing but the best, but he is not making the impact that we drafted him for at the number 2 overall pick, and I'm done.
Could the problem be Todd Walsh?
Master, bringing it from California, not letting the Lions off the hook at all. I love it. What I have to say to those people who say, that's it, I'm done with this team. Bye. This isn't your team. Obviously, your definition of diehard fan and my definition are completely different. Diehard fan means till the day I die.
Yep.
I will be a fan for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to rip them. I cannot be happy, but I'm not going to jump ship and be a Packer fan. Good God. Come on. I mean, this is your team or it's not your team. And it's a character. It's a sign of your character. Are you the kind of guy that's going to bail when the going gets tough? Good riddance.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes.
Someday, the Lions are going to put it together and win, and then you're going to want to jump back on this bandwagon, I promise you. And hopefully,
on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Hopefully, we won't all be dead by then. That somehow the law of averages will work out, and this team will do it for us before we're dead. But in the meantime, I love this team. As heartbreaking as it is every week sometimes.
Yes.
When they win it, trust me, guys, it's going to be worth it. Follow me on Twitter at Main Event Mike. Check us out on YouTube, The Main Event 365. Coach Darcy, how do you really feel? You know? Is that how you really feel, Coach? Next topic we're going to talk about, guys, is the running game. Is the running game solid? Greg, we'll start that with you. How's the running game look to you going into we get a bye, we get to get some guys healthy. Are we going to be able to move the football against Dallas?
We're going to move the football. We're not going to win the game. Look, this offense isn't a problem at all. It's very well built, and God bless Ben Johnson. He's got us, in my opinion, playing way above what I felt we were worth. I thought we could have been a top half, but he's got us in the top 5 right now, and I'll give us about top 10-ish.
11
I like
wins,
the players,
baby.
the personnel we have, win healthy. In terms of putting up big numbers versus Dallas, I think this might be if not the best, the second best defensive team we're playing all year. Shout out to Trayvon Diggs and Dan Quinn. He's got that defense just rolling. And if you saw what they did to Matthew Stafford yesterday, that's a potent defense. And I'm not sure how successful we're going to be in Jerry's world. Like I said, Dan Quinn, a great defensive mind, is going to look at that Belichick blueprint and see what works with his personnel and how we can run it. And they got some ball hawks and turnover machines over there in Dallas. So it's going to be tough. I just hope that we get purposeful offensive yards and not junk yards, if that makes sense. I do not have us winning this game in Dallas. I think we get beat pretty handedly in Jerry's world.
Even with DeAndre Swift coming back, even with an extra week of rest.
You know, our offense is great. Like I said, it's just our defense, you guys. How can we expect to compete against Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott, Michael Gallup's back, CeeDee Lamb, Austin Schultz, a great tight end, not talked about. It's just, like I said, it's the offense I'm not so worried about. I think we can maybe get a shootout, but Dan Quinn, who's a great defensive mind, in my opinion, is going to mimic a lot of what he saw from Belichick. If we could put up 21 points or 24, I'll know that, hey, we adjusted, we're good. We put lower than that, we might have a problem going in the future.
What do you think our chances are of having a secondary by the time this year is over?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with all these injuries.
11 wins,
I've
baby.
seen some injuries happen in the game, but we lost 5 defensive backs yesterday. I have never seen that happen in a football game before. We lost everybody. I think Okuda went out. Will Harris went out.
Amani was a healthy scratch. Great coaching move, Dan.
I mean, I can kind of understand why he did that, but no one really expected everybody in the secondary to get hurt. Like that's just ridiculous. I mean, is Campbell working these guys too hard in practice? Is the medical team not doing their job? The strength and conditioning, something's up. Like, because that's just ridiculous. There's no reason to have that many injuries in one half of football.
Greg Rice, injuries, are they killing us?
Absolutely killing us. You're taking a team year 2 of a rebuild that's not very deep at all, from year 1 where we stripped it down to the bare necessities, and they're just piling up. Like Jake said, 5 injuries in the first half. Someone said to me, I stopped watching the game, you guys, about halfway through the third, turned on the Bears-Vikings game because this is just an absolute crap show. I'm not for watching blowout football. If I want to do that, I'll watch football on Saturdays. That being said, we're not a deep team, and it's absolutely showing. I would like to give a little shout out to Kirby Joseph, who has given up some big plays, man. But his pass coverage PFF ranking is 79.1, which is very good. Get this kid on the field, let him get all his mistakes out of the way, and just keep doing your thing. Other than that, the injuries piling up. I mean, what can we do at this point? It happens to every team in the NFL. The one thing I can say is good coaches find a way to overcome.
What's up, everybody? This is Detroit Jesus. Join me each and every Monday at 6:30 for the Detroit Lions Pridecast on the main event 365, baby. One Pride. Let's go.
11 wins, baby.
Coach Darcy, I'm going to kick it over to you. Are you concerned about this offense?
Well, yeah, because if you don't have DeAndre Swift, he's our best explosive player on there. And so, okay, you hand it off to Swift, he was averaging 4.9 yards per carry. But now you don't have Swift, you got Jamal Williams. He's a, good backup. He's not elite, like he's not explosive like Swift. And then you can turn and just hand the ball off or play action. Play action works great when the linebackers are coming up, right? So then everything comes open. I don't know how many times there was a play action called, but Bill Belichick wrote the blueprint how to beat the Detroit Lions, as Greg was saying in chats.
Right. Okay. How concerned are you, Jake D, about the offense?
Show me an offensive coordinator that Bill Belichick has not made look completely incompetent throughout his career. And that's my whole thing on it. It's one game. Yeah, they dropped a goose egg. Yeah, they look like crap. But we are missing one of our most explosive players, with DeAndre Swift out. But we're kind of used to him being out at this point. We should be able to play well without him. So I'm not really concerned. I think that we're going to go back to being the number 1 offense in the league. We're going to finish the season top 5. I'm not worried about it. Ben Johnson isn't going to have another game like that. I can guarantee it. Okay.
So, Greg Rice, like Jake said, is it more about what the Patriots did rather than what the Lions didn't do?
Yeah, I got to give all the credit to Belichick at Gillette is a different monster. He has, like Jake just alluded to, he has taken some of the top offensive coordinators and just absolutely put the spank down on them. That being said, you guys, something that hasn't been brought up yet is how much the dynamic of this offense has changed since Swift has gone down. Swift is our most electric player. I'd say a top 10 electric player in the NFL. When he went down, this offense has shifted. Now, it looked great last week versus the Seahawks. It didn't look so good this week. Essentially, what we watched yesterday was a repeat of Super Bowl 53, in which Jared Goff, who's been owned by Belichick before many times, was still owned yesterday. And I want to give a shout out to Chris Schilling for bringing that up. When it comes down to it, am I really concerned about the offense? Not too much. What I can say is what me and Darcy have spoken about, and what I spoke to the group about yesterday, is that Bill Belichick gave a blueprint on how to stop this offense. Now, it is up to Ben Johnson, a first-year offensive coordinator to kind of give some variety and give some bend to that, to kind of show that we're explosive in other areas. And this is what separates you guys, the third tier from the second tier quarterbacks. Goff has to adjust and understand that in a copycat league, such as we watch the Eagles bracket Justin Jefferson, and then we copied that people are going to be looking at this Bill Belichick tape and trying to get some footage and some cheats off it. And it's going to be really up to Goff and Ben Johnson to see if we can once again become a top offense in the league.
I think they will. That's a great point. Great take, Greg. Thank you. I think they will. I think they will make adjustments. I think this is more about the boogeyman owning it and creating a game plan. If you look at the box score, the tackles were spread out so evenly across the whole team. There wasn't one guy that stood out. Do want to give a kudos shout out to Adam, our New England Patriots super fan who we had on the show last week. He called it. He said Judon's a beast. Judon was a beast. He said the defense is going to be the strength of the team, and he thinks that the D-line will be able to handle our offensive line. I think that definitely came to fruition. A lot of penalties, bad coaching decisions, a couple of tough breaks as well. And the next thing you know, we're playing from behind. We're playing catch-up, and that's not the strength of our game. That's not the strength of our team. I'm going to have to disagree with you guys on this, though. Just because Swift wasn't out, we were operating fine without Swift. And yesterday, the running game did have over 100 yards. Our offensive line seemed to be moving them okay. We just couldn't. We had one touchdown called back on a penalty. Could have made a big difference there. So I think the offense is going to be fine. I think Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, is going to make some changes. And everything's going to be good. We're going to get Swift back. We're going to get Chark back. Someday we're going to see J-Mo hit the field. I think the offense is going to be fine. It's unequivocally, unarguably, defense that's our biggest problem. We made Ramondre Stevenson look like Eric Dickerson yesterday. Just for 160 yards, another 15 through the air.
Hey, just real quick, man. You brought up the offensive line. I just want to drop this. We were absolutely mollywopped, other than the running game. On 36 dropbacks, we gave up 15 pressures. Shout out to Sewell for being your birthday. That being said, man, you gave up a sack and 3 pressures. And on the other bookend, Taylor Decker gave up a sack and 3 pressures. Logan Stenberg, look for him to get cut sometime soon. He was yanked out of after the first half, and everywhere Evan Brown was put back in. This blueprint thing, you guys, teams are going to start trying to formulate and mimic what Belichick did. So, like I said, good quarterbacks adjust, and so do good offensive coordinators. Let's see what we got going forward.
Here we are on the main stage, and it's open mic night. Bill, the Packer fan, says, you didn't have that energy when they played the Packers last week. Do you think that Matt Patricia, this was a revenge game for him, and that he took this personal maybe? I think we wanted to beat him so bad. And this one really hurts, guys.
Here's a lock. I'm going to lock it. 11 wins, baby.
Wow. Okay,
call me a homer. I don't care.
Bring him back to reality, Greg.
And now I'm a believer in Jared Goff. Brad Holmes believed in him all the way. We might have thought, boy, this guy is not the guy. He's a bridge. He's a stopgap. He's a Band-Aid. We might be thinking this is the guy. He had a bad game last Sunday. Is Goff the guy for 3 more years? Not at the end of the season. Not if that or if this. Right now, is he the guy for 3 more years? Greg Rice.
Based on his performance, yes, absolutely. I alluded to it earlier, you guys. Look, we can't just keep chasing good quarterbacks out of town. And everybody in this panel knows that I was Stafford's biggest critic, and I ate so much crow, you guys, last year. I still got black feathers popping out of my mouth. In all honesty, look, Jared Goff has played tremendously. I just gave off all the stats based on last week's. I haven't updated them. Jared Goff is not our problem. It is our defense and some suspect coaching. I think a better question would be, is AG the guy going forward? As of now, Jared Goff is the guy going forward. Like, what do you want to end up like the Bears, like the Jets, who just found their quarterback finally, leaving the Bears as the last franchise to not find a franchise? I don't want to go through that, you guys. We're just a step above the Bears. We've only ever drafted one good quarterback. So Jared Goff is my guy going forward. right now. That being said,
11 wins,
I've got
baby.
to see more going forward.
So next question, Greg. Should the Lions then abandon getting a quarterback in the draft and just load up on defense through the draft and free agency?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look, our offense is set, you guys. When we're healthy, we could use some depth in certain areas and such. Swaggy, I love you to death. I highly doubt you're going to stick around after what's gone on this year. Best of luck to whatever team you go to. We might need a third running back option. I think Craig Reynolds steps in as that number 2 and does what Swaggy can do. It's got to be an all-out investment in defense next year. Other than Rodriguez, Tracy Walker, who's now down, and Okuda, who do we have? Charles Harris went Romeo Cora 2.0 without the injury on us this year. We have nothing. Defensively, we are so unimpressive. It's beyond pathetic. It's got to be a complete investment. Please do not draft a quarterback next year. With the way the Rams are playing, we're looking at a top 12 pick. Let's invest both those picks in some first-round impact players and then just through the draft. Give me some more defense because we need it. By the end of the season, we'll have a better look at who's with it and who's not.
What's good, everyone? West Coast One Pride. This is Greg Rice. Follow me at Greg Rice 20. Join us each and every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. for the Detroit Lions Pridecast on the Main Event 365. Like, share, and subscribe this content. Thank you so much for your support. One Pride.
11 wins, baby.
So what happens now? Should someone be fired? Should someone pay the price for this? Matt Rule, he got fired today in Carolina for going 1-4. What say you, Greg Rice?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about you guys, but I've been really hungry these last few weeks. I haven't had kneecap in weeks. And essentially, let's be real here. It is bad play calling that is absolutely killing us. You know, I've lost a good 10, 15 pounds off that no kneecap diet.
Like you alluded to, we're being out-coached. Should someone pay now? Should the Lions stand pat? Should they fire someone? Should they? What's next?
Okay, I'll say this. Dan Campbell's here to stay for this season. Some of us, he's lost over half the fan base already. I will say this. I don't mean to look too much into the future, but it looks like we could have a matchup with Skylar Thompson against the Dolphins here in 3 weeks. If Teddy Bridgewater, I haven't seen his injury update. We all know about Tua. If Skylar Thompson comes in here and lights us up, Aaron Glenn, you got to go. That's it. We're done. That's unforgivable.
2 rookie quarterbacks burn you like that. It's unexcusable, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's been unexcusable these last 2 weeks. I'll give Geno a pass. He's playing lights out of his mind. Hats off to Geno Smith. It's an absolute amazing Disney story. Bailey Zapp, you got to be kidding me. This is a joke.
Right. Coach Darcy, whose job is the most in jeopardy?
I don't think any of them. Like I said before, we're in a second year of a rebuild with the cupboards bare. Like we got all 1 to 2 year players. Like what did you expect? I didn't
expect to be out coached in every game.
Well, you're gonna get out coached with nobody has experience. There's not one coach that had offensive coordination experience, or we had one last year, but he sucked, so we got rid of him. But seriously, guys, what did you expect?
Not to be out coached. Jake, should somebody's job be in jeopardy?
Yesterday I was like fire everybody. But you know, sleeping on it, I don't think anybody's job is in jeopardy. If anyone's seat is really starting to get warm, I would have to say it's Aaron Glenn's seat. But I mean, like Darcy was saying, man, it's the second year of a rebuild. You know, Zach, I hate comparing to the Bengals because everyone talks about the Bengals. Zach Taylor won 6 games his first 2 years, and they were ready to run him out of Cincinnati. You know, I'm not saying we're going to go to the Super Bowl in year 3, but, you know, year 3, he takes Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. Now he's the toast of the town. Defense, we don't really have the horses to keep up. It's a bad year. Well,
the offense laid a donut, and the coaches, the Belichick boogeyman, he made all the right adjustments to shut us out. The offense, we did have about 350 yards in offense. We were getting first downs. The defense played better. I think they played better. Okay, what anyone says, what social media is on fire today, wanting to fire our coach. crucifying our defense. Our defense played better than it had in a couple of the other games. So they were stopping this team to some field goals, but the offense just caught some bad breaks. I have to agree with you guys. Maybe it's too early for someone's job to go right now, but it's definitely time to start taking a look that maybe, just maybe, Brad Holmes should hire his own coach, because there were some egregious mistakes yesterday, especially we're going to talk about now Dan Campbell, the Cowboy, going for it on fourth down. 0 for 6. We were 8 for 12 coming into the game on fourth down, and man, that looked good and sounded good, 8 for 12. Well, now going 0 for 6, 8 for 18 sure doesn't sound any good. What do you think, Jake, about that? What about fourth down efficiency?
Yeah, you have to know when to go for it on fourth down and when not to go for it on fourth down. You know, you have to play the field position game as well. If you're backed up and, you know, you don't want to give your defense a short field, go for it on fourth down and losing it. Sometimes you have to know when to punt. Got to know when to punt. Got to know when to go for it. And
okay. So those fourth downs aren't a deal breaker for you, Jake. Based on a scale from 1 to 10, what's your faith in Dan Campbell after yesterday?
An 8. It went from a 10 to an 8. I had it at 10 before this week. I had it at a 10, so it did drop down a couple spots for me.
All right, Greg Rice, same question. Faith in Dan Campbell, scale from 1 to 10, and what did you think about going for it 6 times and failing on fourth down?
My faith in Dan Campbell right now, I give him a C or a 7. You brought in a field goal kicker this last week who scored every point for the Bears the week before. You're not going to give this guy one kick. I don't care that he just came in that week. Let's think long term. We need to know if we have a kicker, a temporary kicker, or a kicker who's not going to work at all. The fact that you got in field goal position, you didn't give this guy one chance to kick it, makes me sick. It was a horrible decision. Costly coaching play calls made by Dan Campbell. I can't emphasize this enough. We were promised some movement around for Aiden Hutchinson, who was absolutely stonewalled yet again by Trent Brown. Couldn't kick him out on the right side enough to go against Isaiah Wynn, who at best is a mediocre right tackle. I didn't get on anything. Nothing made sense yesterday. Absolutely nothing made sense. We are now a week into after hiring a kicker who has not made a kick, and we do not know anything about him or if he's anything. We don't know anything.
Well, here's what we do know. He's 3 for 10 outside of 50 yards. Okay, 3 for 10. So maybe it justifies it a little bit, but there were a lot of questionable fourth down calls, guys, right? Darcy, what do you think? Fourth down, and what's your faith in Dan Campbell on a scale from 1 to 10?
Well, you know, Vegas isn't in business to lose. When you're a riverboat gambler, just like Dan Campbell is, Vegas does not lose money. That's why they have the biggest buildings in the world. So that mentality, it's got to stop. I know we are depleted with injuries with Tracy Walker, Levi, Chark, Kaminsky, and JMO and Vitae. Like, I get it. And we're the youngest team in the NFL. I get why he's doing it, but it's going to bite you in the ass. And my scale to 1 to 10, 7.
So we got 2 7s and an 8 and the faith of Dan Campbell. I love your guys' enthusiasm. I'm going to go with a 5, maybe a 4.5. I mean, it's a 50-50 toss-up whether this guy's going to get it or not. Yeah, he's not experienced, but some of these are boneheaded plays. 4th and 9 on your side of the 50. And we weren't even out of the game at that point. It was early second quarter. It's 4th and 9 on our side of the field. Come on. And then what happens? Fumble, scoop, touchdown, putting us further out of the game, taking the ball away from our running game, which is the strength of this team. Terrible call. Definitely some questionable coaching. If he continues this, that 5 I'm giving him is going to drop every week as we get ready, because he needs to start getting a clue. I'm going to have to grill him. I love the guy. He's a nice guy. Players love to play for him. If they're still playing hard in week 14, let him finish out the year. But that's it. I mean, if he still keeps this up and we don't get more wins than we did last year, I think we'd be right to call for his head.
Here's a lock. I'm going to lock it. 11 wins, baby.
Wow. Okay,
call me a
Coach
homer. I don't care.
Bring him back to reality, Greg.
As long as we beat the Packers once, we beat the Vikings once, and we beat the Bears twice, I'm happy. That means we dominated the division.
You're happy with 6 wins.
I was happy with 7 at the beginning of the year. I was. That's what I said. I would be happy with 7.
I get
all these slappies to say, "Oh, we're going to the playoffs." So Russell, right now, our producer right there, you said, "Oh, okay, go be Darcy, Homer Darcy, and say go get 11." I ain't saying that. I'm not no slappy. Come on now. I was happy at 7 wins. I was happy at 7. I think we could beat the Packers twice there, Slappy Bill.
So you were goaded into saying
11 wins, baby. 11 wins, baby. 11 wins, baby. 11 wins.
Oh, Lions got one of the easiest schedules, and it never factors in the draft or free agency for that year. It's an absolutely disgusting stat that makes no sense. You know, it was funny at the beginning of the season. I was laughing at the Bears.
11 wins, baby.
And you know, Justin Fields is still a bum, but at the same time, I'm not sure if we can sweep them like I had them sweeping before the beginning of the season. Sweeping the Packers, no way, absolutely not. Maybe split with them just because we play them well and we aren't the Bears. The Vikings, maybe not. They seem to be, Kirk Cousins isn't exactly having the greatest of years, but he's getting it done in crunch time. And that's what matters in the win-loss column.
11 wins,
baby. I don't know.
I think if you were one of those people that say the Lions will never win until the Fords sell the team, you are a moron. Rich people like money and they like more money more.
Yes.
And if the Lions were a winning team, they'd be worth more money.
Yep.
It is ludicrous to think that the Ford family doesn't want the team to win. You are an idiot if that is your take. You've lost all credibility with me if you think, well, it's just a revenue stream. They're making money anyway. Yeah, well, they could make more money. With revenue sharing and the TV contracts, all NFL teams make money now because they are all profitable. Even if you didn't go to the game, the Lions would still make money. The cap, revenue sharing, it's all financially fixed so that every team makes money. So stop with the sell the team narrative.
11 wins, baby.
Jake, what's your take on sell the team?
Well, I think that's a lazy argument. People who say sell the team don't really watch football, not in the way they think they do. They're casual fans. You know, if they sell the team, there's almost a 0% chance that they stay in Detroit. They're going to move them somewhere.
That's a great point. Great take, Jake.
Like you said, Mike, winning equals more money.
Yeah.
Of course they want to win. Somebody's got to lose. And unfortunately for us, it's been our Lions forever. You know, you're not going to win every Sunday. You're not going to lose every Sunday. You know, and they've had some good teams throughout the years. They haven't always just been a complete failure and a complete letdown. I've watched them make the playoffs twice. So far.
Playoffs.
That's right.
Greg Rice 20. What do you say to those people that say they should sell the team?
I mean, Jake just hit the nail on the head. I mean, in all honesty, what are you going to do? What's the Ford family going to do? Sell it to GMC? I mean, if they're not doing that, they're not staying in Detroit, you know? So this whole sell the team mantra, you guys let it go. It's the Detroit Lions. It's been a long tradition. This is part of the original black and blue division, you know, just let it go. Let Sheila do her thing, you guys. We're under essentially new ownership.
Quarterback.
Give them a few years, but give them a few years before we call the hangman in. You know, let's let this play out, you guys. Look, it is Overreaction Monday. This whole sell the team mantra that I've heard since being on social media, just let it go, you guys. I mean, I'd hate to think that they sell them and then they became like the Arkansas, New Mexico Lions. Like, God, how weird does that sound? You guys, it took the Chicago Cubs, 108 years to win. I don't think I have that much longer in my life, but just knowing odds with us, sometime we got to win. It's kind of a feel good in a letdown sort of way.
Is it injuries or coaching?
Yes.
I like that.
So when it comes down to injuries, there is no bigger injury than Tracy Walker, our team captain with the green dot. And you talked about it last week, how important it is to have the green dot and the guy communicating with Aaron Glenn. Tracy Walker was injured up 14-0 against the division leading Minnesota Vikings on the road. So if everybody wants to throw all the blame right back at Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell when the bottom came out from an injury perspective from this team, when you're playing now, they may not have been playing wide receivers, but I know Chase Lucas was playing safety at the end of that game, and he had never played safety before in his life. So, I mean, there's nothing good about the game. I am not getting them a pass. There is blame that needs to be done on the coaching. Like I said earlier, that 4th and 9 on our side, I do not excuse going for it when you can punt the ball. I agree with foregoing 3 points to try to get 7.
The overperforming, underperforming thing. I'm going to get a little shot in here at Brad Holmes. Can we stop drafting second-round injured players? When you get someone in the second round, they are supposed to be an impact player, at least minimal sharing
11
snaps
wins,
with someone.
baby.
With Levi O possibly never playing again, with Pascal not seeing the field till halfway through the game, we're already coming in down instant impact starters, and it's absolutely killing us. This can tack on to Russell Wilson's we're playing with house money in 2023. This has to stop at 2023. If you are a day 2 pick, you need to get on the field and make an immediate impact. Part of this is a direct reflection on Brad Holmes' inability to draft healthy players on day 2. Essentially, other than Aleem McNeil and Kirby Joseph, who's finally getting some snaps, what is going on with our day 2 picks? You cannot win or sustain a good football team consistently by drafting injured players.
Allow me to piggyback on that. I want to respond to that because I think it's important because you bring up a good point. And if we get to the end of this year and we have not seen a down from Pascal or we haven't seen a down from Jamison Williams, I'm going to give your argument like all of the water that it needs to be there. But until we see these guys actually play, we cannot call it failed until we see Jamison Williams and Pascal actually fail or Levi never play again. That needs to be it needs to finish its deal first, because I don't want to trade Jamison Williams for whoever we would have gotten at 32. You can leave me off of that one.
You don't think Kyle Hamilton would be looking pretty good now?
Not absolutely not. Jamison Williams is a game-changing player, and they took a shot. I hope that he's not injured forever, but that's a game changer.
We have the number 1 offense in the league.
0. We scored. It ain't number 1 no more. We better go check that. Check those stats.
If you guys
This is
need
for
me
Greg
to play
Rice.
quarterback,
Greg, what do you got?
I'm a couple years older than Tom Brady. I could step in. I could help fix this team. We don't have to sell a team. We don't have to do that. You just put Coach Darcy in. Put me in, Coach.
We see Darcy on the field, we're going to have issues.
11 wins, baby.
I love you, Coach Darcy.
The graphic says is Bill Belichick, Mr. Miyagi, and is Dan Campbell.
That's right.
Kai.
That's right. That's what the Wayne's Word. That's what the title of the Wayne's Word is going to be right here. And this is what I want to caution Lions fans that are ready to jump off of this ship. And
11 wins, baby.
Bill Belichick does this to people, okay? Like, how many times has Bill Belichick schemed up some stuff, takes away your best thing? You actually talked about it last week, Michael, when we were on our main event podcast. It's just like, don't sell Bill Belichick check short because he's going to dial up some stuff. So it just kind of reminded me of the Karate Kid scene where he's standing there with his like, come on, let's fight. And then you're like, it's live or die, man. Honk. Yeah. That's Bill Belichick, Mr. Miyagi, using all of Dan Campbell's force against him and using all of that momentum. You want to be all aggressive. And he just judo slammed him right to the ground and made him look like a rookie coach. And that's what it is. I'm not going to overreact on this. We're going to go into a bye week. We're going to get some players back. I don't know if it's going to help all that much, but it can't hurt to get some health back and to get some talent infused into this team. So it sucks to get beat like that. We're out there with an aggressive coach. He's going for it on 4th down. The only one I'm going to give him crap about is the one that we did on our side on the 4th and 9. I don't think that you should be choosing between punt or going for it on 4th down. If you don't want to kick field goals, I'm good with that. I don't care if you're like F the field goal kicker because no one ever makes one anyway. If you want to be like that, that's fine. But don't do it from the side where you have the best punter in the league. You can really pin people and take advantage of that. So pump the brakes on being off on the team. Like, don't jump off the ship quite yet.
Wasn't 23 the target year anyway, Russ?
11 wins,
2023 is the target year, and I'm not making excuses. I've been on record for saying this. Dan Campbell walked into the office the first time, and it's a 7-year deal, Darcy.
11 wins, baby.
And the first 2 years, he needed to rebuild this team. 2021, 2022, to rip this thing from the studs and rebuild it the way that Holmes and Campbell wanted it. Next year, they're going to have around $90 million in cap. A lot of this dead cap, all this bull crap comes off the books. And they're going to push all of their chips into the middle of the table next year with the 2 first-round picks and $90 million in cap to get yourself some veteran leadership on that defense. So I'm not freaking out. I know where we're at in this rebuild. And I'm not giving up on my coach.
2 or 3 players can make a huge difference on this defense right now.
This is going to be open mic. We want to make this an open forum for people. We're going to be sending the links out, especially over the next couple of weeks, man. This is like, we're here to let you sit on the couch and vent all your frustrations, all right? We're here for you. That's what we do here at the Pridecast Main Event 365.
11 wins, baby.